Hi there, my name is Sydney, and today we're going to do a very quick fire building tutorial. I love building fires. It's one of my favorite wilderness skills, and I love teaching people about building fires. Most people I teach get really into it as well, so it's a really exciting skill to talk about and to do with everyone. So I wish I could be actually doing this with you, but a tutorial is going to have to be okay today. So basic things to know when you are starting fire building 101 is going to be what makes fire. To build a fire, you're going to need three components. You're going to need fuel, some sort of fuel. Typically, this comes in the form of wood, sticks, brush, anything you can find in the wilderness. Might also be that you're using some fire starters, but you're going to need fuel. The second component is going to be heat, and the third component is going to be oxygen. Without those three things, you cannot have fire. With those three things, hopefully you should be able to have a fire. Going back to fuel, there are three things we want to keep in mind when we're in the backcountry, a part of Leave No Trace. You want to make sure to use the 3 Ds when finding your fuel: dead, down, and detached. Really, this is about, one, not disturbing the environment. We're already using things that are dead and down. We're not cutting down anything that's living, and we're leaving less of an imprint on the environment. But part of this also is that things that are living, things that have green, so like maybe your wood has green in it still, it's not going to be as effective when lighting fire. Your dead, down, and detached stuff like this guy here, it's going to be a lot better when you're building your fire. You can see there's no green in there at all. This stuff on the outside is going to create more of a smoky fire, so do be aware when you're scavenging for things. You're going to be looking for more of these items here, where it has less of that bark on the outside. It's going to burn a little bit better. I always recommend finding things, leaving it to dry, and having it on you when you're going out into the backcountry, because it's much harder to build something with wet fuel. Also, something you're always going to want to look for when you're building fire is this sound, right? If you don't have that snapping sound, it's going to be harder to burn. That means it's dry, it's dead, and it's going to be a good source of fuel. Again, keeping with the system of the threes, right? There are three parts to fuel. You're going to have your tinder. That's going to be part one. That is typically going to be little tiny pieces of wood, the very, very small pieces that you're going to use. Could be like these strands here. Those are going to light very quickly. They're going to be super flammable. Could be shavings that you've gotten from a piece of wood. That's what these are here. These are going to be super flammable. The smaller the better. Reason being, the smaller it is, the faster it's going to light. If you're lighting something with a match, my rule of thumb is the tinder, so the fuel that you're using at that level, the tinder, has to be smaller than that match stick, right? That means it's going to light quickly and easily. The second piece is going to be your kindling. This is step 2. Once you've gotten that flame, could look like pieces like this that you've collected. It's going to be slightly larger, so you're taking the flame that you've started, and you're starting to grow it, you're starting to feed it. This is what your kindling is going to look like. Again, you want it really, really dry if you can. If it's wet, it's okay. It's just going to take more time, and it's going to produce more smoke. And then your third piece to that fire, right? So you've got tinder, you've got kindling, and then you're going to have your big piece fuel. It's It's going to be anything that's larger. I don't have big logs out here today. Out here, I'm in my house. But it's going to be any of those larger logs, those larger pieces that are going to burn for a long time. That's going to keep your fire going throughout the night. That's all I have for you today. I would build you a quick fire. I would build it with you if I could. Maybe I will here soon. That is my hope. But takeaways, think about it in threes, right? You need fuel, oxygen, and heat to build fire. You want to look for dead, down, and detached, the 3Ds. And when building your fire up from the ground, you're going to think of tinder, kindling, and your big piece fuel. So again, think of it in threes. It's going to help you remember it. If you want more tips on how to build a fire, REI.com has a lot of videos on fire building at different levels and with different sources. So check it out. It's a great resource. It's a great tool. Have fun out there.